Okay, so today we're going to be going through lesson 3.6, which is all about equivalent expressions. So if we don't remember, when we talk about equivalent, we want to say equal or the same. So what we're going to be dealing with here is we're going to be looking at different expressions, and we're going to try to say, are they equivalent or are they the same to each other? So let's try example 1. Which of these expressions are equivalent? So first, right off the bat, we have 8x minus 4 and 4x. These are not equivalent to each other. And now some of you might have said, well, if you do 8 minus 4, that's 4, so 4x. The reason that you cannot do that is because you can only add or subtract if there are like terms. So you can only add or subtract if there are like terms. And so like terms, for instance, would be this 8x, the 4 would also have to have an x by it for you to be able to combine those. If it was 8x minus 4x, then you could combine because they both have a variable. But since it's 8x minus 4, we cannot combine those. And we're going to talk more about like terms tomorrow in the next video as well. But just for right now, if there are no like terms, if they don't have the same variable, you have to leave them as is. So I'm going to put 4x over here because this is not equivalent. I'm going to put 8x minus 4 because this is the one that we're trying to test out. So our last expression, if you notice, has parentheses. So because it has parentheses, we want to use the distributive property to be able to simplify. And what the distributive property means is that you're taking whatever's on the outside of the parentheses, in this case it's 4, and you're distributing it to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So what that means is you're going to take this 4 and you're going to multiply it by the 2x and you're going to multiply it by the 1. So whatever you have on the outside, you multiply by everything on the inside. So what this looks like is 4 times 2x, keep the subtraction sign the same, minus 4 times 1. So when we solve this out, we have 4 times 2 is 8, so we have 8x minus 4 times 1 is 4. And if you guys notice, this is the same as our 8x minus 4. So we can say that 8x minus 4 is equivalent to 4 times 2x minus 1. So those are equivalent. So again, with distributive property, you take whatever's on the outside and you're going to multiply it by everything on the inside of the parentheses. All right, let's try another one. So example 2, which of the following expressions are equivalent? Explain. So first thing we want to do is we want to go over here to our parentheses and we want to use distributive property to simplify. So we're going to multiply 5 by both terms. And remember, if you guys don't remember from yesterday, terms are separated by addition or subtraction. By addition or subtraction sign. So in this case, there are 2 terms. The 2y is one term. I meant to get the highlighter there. The 2y is one term and the 1 is one term. So we're multiplying 5 by every term inside the parentheses. So we have 5 times 2y, keep the addition sign, and then 5 times 1. So what we're going to get here is 5 times 2 is 10. So we have 10y plus 5 times 1, which is 5. And if you guys notice, this is exactly the same as our first expression. So we can say that 10y plus 5 is equivalent to 5 times 2y plus 1. And neither of them are equivalent to 15y, so I'm just going to cross that. All right, let's try example 3. Are 2 times x minus 3 plus 1 and 2x plus 6 equivalent expressions? So first, this expression that here is going to stay the same, 2x plus 6. There's nothing we can do that, so that's going to stay the same. Now the 2x minus 3 plus 1, we can use the distributive property to simplify this. So I'm going to multiply my 2 by both of my terms. And I leave that plus 1 alone because the 1 is not inside the parentheses, so I'm going to leave that alone for right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 times x, or just 2x, minus 2 times 3, which is 6. And now, looking at this, now I can do my addition. I can do 6 plus 1. So I'm going to be left with 2x minus 7. So looking at this, these are not going to be equivalent because 2x plus 6 is not equivalent to 2x minus 7. So these two are not equivalent. All right, last one. Are 6 times n plus 3 minus 4 and 6n plus 14 equivalent? So again, this one stays the same. There's nothing more we can do with that right now. But we have 6 times n plus 3 minus 4. And I'm going to use my distributive property. So whatever's on the outside, I'm going to multiply by my terms on the inside. So I have 6 times n, which can just be written as 6n, plus 6 times 3, which we know is 18, minus 4. I can combine my 18 minus 4 because they don't have any variables on them. And 18 minus 4 is 14. So I'm left with 6n plus 14, which is exactly the same as 6n plus 14 that we got at the top. So yes, these are equivalent. So basically all we want to do here, you guys, is if there are parentheses, we want to do the distributive property to put our expressions in simplest form. And then we want to look at them and see, are they equivalent, yes or no? So distributive property, simplify the expression to be able to test, are they equivalent?